Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a VeVe and Omi update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon, smashing that super thanks button down below. I'll do an Earth2 update as well. Before we get started, everyone check out wraithax.eth domain name, and this is not financial advice, ever. So with Earth2, there was a couple of people asking me in the Earth2 Discord before, hey, predictions for Essence, and I've done this before, but just saying realistically, everything's been delayed. Okay, cool. Well, you know what? VeVe has delayed a lot of their exchanges that we were supposed to get last year to this year. The same reason why Earth2 did not list that as well. There are a lot of variables to consider when talking about Earth2's Essence, where it's going to get listed. I think it gets listed on Binance amongst a bunch of other places. And I'll get to the VeVe Omi predictions in a second, but for Earth2, I think when you have something that's less than 200 million in the circulating supply, and maybe if it gets up to 500 million, which I don't think would happen, but let's say it does, by the time they do launch Essence by the end of the year, second half, Q3, Q4, whenever, I think you get something along the lines of, even if it's at a dollar, that's only $500 million, where I think in the second half of the year we do start to recover a little bit. I think there's a lot of short-term pain that still needs to happen, unemployment, housing crisis, whatever. But then I think you're going to see quite a bit of an uptick in that K-shaped recovery. And with that, again, you had Decentraland and you had Sandbox going. They reached like $8-9 billion last year. Decentraland's Mana and Sandbox's Sand, just because they're metaverse tokens. Okay, well, Earth2 has not an infinite amount, but hilariously a lot more users than Decentraland, like hundreds, if not thousands, x more. So I would say it's very, very possible to go and at least do what Decentraland did. Because again, we like the graphics are better. You have the drone video game that'll be released at some point. And then you have, obviously, it's in alpha right now. It'll be in beta soon. There's not a ton of people that are really doing Earth2 videos right now, but that's just because there's really no gameplay. But I would say it's very possible that it releases, if it releases this year, at like 50 cents. Maybe even $1, and then in the bull run that gets to tens of dollars. Again, just explaining why I think it is, because of the way the market cap is, and even if just $10, even at 500 million, you're only looking at a $5 billion market cap. So probably $20 if we get up to just where Sandbox and Decentraland's Mana was. But again, just my opinion. Okay, so predictions for VeVe and Omi in 2023, and also Happy New Year, everyone. So I think we have a bunch of things. I think, like I said, we were talking about listings for Essence for Earth2. I think we get a couple listings this year. Sure, there's going to be a couple of them that are going to be like, okay, this listing, what does it really matter? But I also think that you're going to get a couple of listings like, oh, hey, maybe there's a KuCoin, maybe there's a Kraken, maybe there's Crypto.com. I do think we get a couple of major listings this year that people actually know what they are instead of the ones we have now. So that's one. Omi price prediction, I've gone over this before. My base case would be half a penny, and that is assuming that we do go down the first half of the year and then on our way back up. So half a penny from here, you're figuring is a 6x from here, which is nothing to sneeze at. And again, that's the base case. I think that if you look at people that are smarter than me and more experienced than me, like Crypto Rain and Dr. of Stuff. Crypto Rain's obviously been in this market for a lot longer, has a lot more experience. He's older. He says 3 cents. And Dr. of Stuff, who again is in banking, works at the FDIC. Again, it's not like he's in a career field that is unassociated with this. This is his wheelhouse. He says 2 to 3 cents as well. So I'm very happy to be wrong. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, base case I think is about half a penny, which again, 6x in any year. It's very, very good. I also think that we have growth on the VeVe app as well. Also, I've been sprinkling some messages on Twitter here and there that may or may not be a hidden message. Anyway, I do think we get a lot more users. I think localization finally happens, whether it's the first half of the year, second half of the year, I'm not sure. But what do we have? 117,000 active wallets each week, active weekly wallets. I think that triples, if not does like a downright 4 or 5x. And again, this is a bear market. The recession. This is going to be the year for building. We're going to, we've built very deep. Now we're going to have to start to build wide. We're already worldwide. But yeah, this is something I'm very, very excited for, is that localization and to get new money in the app. I mean, we already have crypto to gem for some of the beta users. What happened when we had beta users for cash out, for MTL? Okay, they got it. Oh, only certain people are getting it. Well, guess what? A month later, everyone else got it. Now that you have beta users, I think sometime in February, everyone will have crypto to gem. Again, just my opinion. But yeah, so the user growth, and then I think that we have a couple of more licensors that are announced. Now, obviously, there's things that were already announced, we just haven't gotten any, like Fast and Furious. We have, there's a bunch of stuff outside of the ones. I mean, we already have Jurassic Park. We've had Little Prince. We have LLMGM. There's a couple of things that have been announced that we just haven't had. Monster Hunter. Been waiting for those, and I know we have Disney, but please, can we get some Gravity Falls NFTs? I need a Waddles. I need a Grunkle Stan. But I think you see that. And David had mentioned on one of my podcasts last year, oh yeah, we just signed something that, AAA, has 50 million followers across all socials. Okay. He still hasn't said what those are. Could it be Game of Thrones? Could it be Harry Potter? Could it be, something Japanese related? Maybe. I mean, we do have, again, why I'm getting a lot of these influential Japanese people on is because to help kind of launch that over in Asia. Some other things, I think you have an unexpected vertical, whether it's music, whether it's card games or board games. I think you do have something that we get here that many people aren't really focused on that. People are focused on when OUP, when MCP, and when Viviverse, and I guarantee you we get all of those this year. But I think there's other things that people have kind of forgotten. I don't think you have a bunch of people that have mentioned music in a while. I still want my Non-Fungible Wonderful concert on, in Chaveztopia. Speaking of Chaveztopia, link down below to Earth2 game, Chaveztopia, and my referral code. I think that you also, on the OUP development roadmap, I would say half of those get done before the end of the year. Be advised, we do get updates every single month on that. We will get an update on this within the next 2 weeks. Hopefully, crypto to gem is a little bit closer than the waitlist drop wallet. Buying Omi on the web app is going to be heckin' huge. But I think more than half of these, and stuff that hasn't really moved, Omi to gem, Omi staking wallet, Omi spot wallet, a lot of those things might be able to go together. And then Omi to accessory, P2P, Omi, player to player, Omi to accessory, OUP staking. Staking we'll probably get by the end of the. Honestly, we might even get all of these. Bird reward points, like I'm gonna say there's a coin flip, very decent chance that we get all of these before the end of the year. Some will come in Q1, some in Q2, 3, so on and so forth. But speaking of New Year's stuff and predictions, Dr. Prophet has put together a 17-point page talking about what he expects in 2023. Figured I'd read that now for those of you that don't have Twitter or missed it. It says 2022 was turbulent and tough to predict. I still stand by my predictions, but was too optimistic on the timing. Here's my outlook on 2023. We'll go through several topics in this thread: macro outlook, financial markets, augmented reality, IP matters, Viviverse, VeVe team. He says, macro outlook, things will get worse before they get better. Agreed. Says the bad. Most global economies will dive into a recession in 2023. Political instability and uncertainty is never good for markets. I actually think that the recession can last until early 2024, but that's just my opinion. He says, the good. China U-turn of their zero Rona policy will ease the global supply chain problems. I've gone over that before. Agreed 100%. CPI will fall off a cliff. US CPI could fall to 2% by June. Housing and energy is already negative. And a recession could be over quick. The US recession is possible that it only lasts 2 quarters. Where, let's say, if we go into a deep recession in Q1, let's say it's over by Q3. Possibly. He also says, in the financial markets will stabilize before macro gets better, long before the end of the recession. The risk on is long-term interest will fall. Risk appetite for the markets will go up. And while a lot of crypto projects will die, quality projects will become stronger. What have I said? Some of the biggest rallies are in bear markets. Crypto Rain was on the other day and he said, oh, well, actually, yeah, in bear markets, you have a lot of crypto projects and now you'd have a bunch of NFT projects that will separate itself from the pack and will not abide by the norms of the markets. Dr. Prophet goes on to say, megatrend for augmented reality will continue. In general, big tech companies are doomed to succeed as they need a successor to the mobile phone. Hence, they have huge R&D budgets for AR and VR. In 2023, we will see the launch of at least 15 AR/MR headsets and glasses. That's a lot, but even if he's off by 50%, 7 of them would be nice. The first wave will be headsets with pass-through mode. The form factor will be pretty much like a VR headset, but we'll be able to look at the reality through the camera potentially in retina resolution. Apple, I'm looking at you. He goes to say the next wave will be AR glasses. This is more challenging, but it is the future. I've said that before. Nreal created a nice product which has to be connected to the phone. The future is standalone, offloading computation to an edge server while streaming to glasses, Qualcomm, Niantic, to watch. Love those companies. Most notable headset goggles that will launch in 2023. We have 2 models from Meta, Apple, Sony, Samsung, Huawei, HTC, HP, Valve, Somnium. Most of them will compete with the Meta Quest Pro, and Xiaomi, which is smart glasses, Niantic's Qualcomm, will go to the AR path. I agree as well. Halfway done here. Tim Cook said a few months ago that we won't be able to understand how we've lived before AR. This is a strong statement which I fully support. There are too many causes where this tech will help us for good. Success is unavoidable. The question, if not if, but when. I agree. I guarantee you, each one of these companies are going to hire a whole bunch of doctors, a whole bunch of clinicians. They're like, oh, get away from your phone where you're always looking down like this. Wear these glasses. Better for your spine, better posture, better for, going and attracting members of the opposite sex because, you have the better posture and you carry yourself better. That's all it's going to take. And it shouldn't be that expensive. It goes on to say digital goods. I advocate digital goods and ownership. It's environmentally friendly, has 0 carbon footprint. The one's on VeVe anyway because we're on Immutable X. The collectible industry is currently $300 billion per year and will be transformed to digital. It's only a matter of time. A collectible industry is poised to be over $1 trillion by 2032. VeVe is going to be a big part of that. Blockchain and crypto. Blockchain is the best technology, fully decentralized, the ledger and ownership. In the future, you can take collectibles to any metaverse in your home, Earth2, VeVe, etc. Crypto and blockchain is here to stay, no matter what the current markets are suggesting. Regardless of what Peter Schiff says, regardless of what anyone else says, it is here to stay. IP. 99% of the projects on OpenSea will die because they fail to create a brand and a following. This is why VeVe will succeed. The collectibles come with built-in fan base that now only has to discover AR, ownership, and digital goods. Why did Spider-Man succeed? It had a running comic, it had a running story, it had running characters where you got to know them, and then it had a show, and then it had movies, and it had video games. Like, there's a lot being thrown at you. Pokemon, same thing. It was a manga, it was a card game, it was so many video games and so many fan-made games. Kind of what Feesh is trying to do right now. Feesh started off as just a Feesh that you can collect, and then there's portals on. You can see other people's collections, and then that they're going to be producers in a movie for the Feesh holders, and there's a bunch of airdrops, and there is a storyline. There is really good lore there, and there are video games, and there's gambling. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility for Feesh to also stand the test of time. Granted, Rocket Blockchain is only one person, so I'm hoping that he's able to, hire some people for creative juices. Not that he needs it, but at some point I think he will. Anyway, moving on. Viviverse. Dr. Prophet says, I'm so impressed with the tech, specifications, and enthusiasm behind it. Graphic engine agnostic, supporting multiple devices, including augmented reality. Specifically, it will run on Unreal Engine, but it can be streamed to any device, even with weaker specs. We saw an example of that over at DCOM. Big thanks to the VeVe team. You are a big part of the success. And then he mentions all of them, mentions Al Khan. He's just a great old guy. So special thanks to the VeVe fandom and friends that are still here and are true believers. Aw, he tagged me first. I love him. Last but not least, I want to highlight that I have never met in such a passionate and motivated founders team. I want to thank David and Dan and the VeVe team personally to have taken me on the VeVe journey and make me a collector again. And then lastly, he says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, guys. Comment down below what you think with these predictions. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. They're good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, meow.